Caddis Maximus here, this time with a review of the Mastercraft Pro 1/4-inch drive socket set. Although this review is going to be representative of almost all the Mastercraft Pro sockets, so I'm not going to do reviews of the 3/8 and reviews of the 1/2 inch because they all look the same and are all basically the same quality. Just as I did with all those wrench reviews, I didn't need to review the same sets in both metric and standard, and I didn't really want to dig up both sets. My tools are a little bit buried. I got these Mastercraft Pros about 20 years ago or so. They're part of my first real tool set, and what kind of got me into mechanics. I've always been into mechanics, but didn't have a nice tool set. And I bought this set from Fingerhut. I believe Mastercraft is still around, like a Canadian Tire kind of manufacturer. In a second here, I'll show you an image of what the set looked like. This is exactly what my very first socket set looked like. Yeah, so that's what the set looked like. It was this really comprehensive set. I can't remember how much it was 20 years ago. It was on sale. I think it was right around the time when Fingerhut had their first series of financial difficulties. And when I received them, I mean, it was like $200 or $300 or something. And when you look at the crafts, this was a huge set. 300 pieces or something like that. And, it came with some box wrenches that weren't so great, but what was surprising was the sockets. When you spend, half as much as what the same even Craftsman set would have cost, it would have been thousands if it were obviously a Snap-on or a Proto or something. I was very pleased, and let's go ahead and take a look. And, mind you, these, I don't think Mastercraft or Mastercraft Pro is quite as good as they were 20 years ago back in the 90s. But these sockets were really, really surprisingly good. They've really held up to wear pretty well. Let's take all the stamping. Everything has just been great. Everything, every socket was just, you could closely inspect and they're almost all perfect. It was really surprising. Let's take a look at this 10mm, because this would be my most used socket. And the chrome on the outside's held up well. I try to take care of my tools, but I still have used the 10mm quite a bit. Let's see if we can get a little more zoom. There we go. You can see the chrome is worn off on the inside, but there isn't like a lot of rounding and flaring of the flutes there. And same on the drive side. There's going to be a little bit, but there's hardly any, not for a socket that's turned. I'm sure hundreds, if not, definitely hundreds of fasteners. There's no question. I've rebuilt cars from the, bare chassis up using these sockets. It was a pretty comprehensive set, and as a nice base set, a part of being a tool collector is you get a nice base set, and then forever on it's just set building, as they call it. And so it only had up to 13mm, and so of course I had a Craftsman 14, I got a Snap-on 15. So if we look, we have a Mastercraft Pro. I think the last of the American-made Craftsmans. Yeah, so an American-made Craftsman, which is weird. They have like these double little notches in the back. I don't know what the heck they're for, but I always find them annoying. But Mastercraft Pro, Craftsman, and then Snap-on, and really the quality is just great. I mean, if these didn't say Mastercraft Pro and had a much better name on them, they would easily pass for it. There's no question there. And same with the Imperial side. Get a few random sockets to fill it out. And then here are the deep wells. And they're just about the same. This one on the end is a Snap-on right next to the Mastercraft Pro. And even inside, if we can get a look there, yeah, even inside, they're just great. I mean, really not a whole lot of difference, even though there's a huge price difference between those two sockets retail. And it came with a nice set. Down here, this little one's a Williams 1/8 inch socket. You can see one of the things that kind of sets apart better tools, like this cheap Stanley 5/32, the turn down area doesn't go quite as deep as on the Mastercraft, and compared to the Williams or a more professional socket, they go really deep just so they can fit farther down a recess. But the Mastercraft does do a middle ground, and it's better than much cheaper sockets. And we can see the same thing You know, here's an SK, Mastercraft Pro, SK, and then a snap on here, and you can see the more professional ones are turned down further, but that's about it. See, here's the Craftsman's are still turned down higher than what the Mastercraft Pros are. So it was just a quick review. These do turn up on Craigslist and definitely on eBay, and if it's an older set, I would definitely recommend it, particularly that one, the gray set. If you want a nice set, I really can't deny it. These things have just worked out great for me. Once again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Catus Maximus out.